Alright, how's it going? What we're going to be doing today is talking about some major and minor sevenths and dominant sevenths. If you've ever dove into jazz guitar, you'll find a lot of these chords. You also find them in random songs, like a lot of John Mayer songs have these chords in there. They're really cool chords, major sevens, nines, all that. So what we're going to be focusing on today is doing sevens. So really what you've heard these a lot in is blues songs and just different stuff like that. So what I'm going to show you today is how to take like a bar chord, make it a major seven, a minor seventh, and then a dominant seven, and show you where to find them up and down the neck. First on the E, the A, and the D. Because on guitar it's all about positioning, right? Cool. So what we're first going to do is let's dive into what we're making our chord from. So again, all chords are really going to stem off the major scale. So what I decided to do is keep this lesson in G major so we can have the same consistent notes. Then I'll show you how to move the shapes around. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our G major chord. Now you can go to like an open G major, or we can go to the G major bar chord. Now, I know some of you have a hard time playing bar chords, and I understand that, but for the theory part of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the G major bar chord. Since the open shapes are more common that we see, I want to focus on the bars and just be able to move those. Cool. So let's start with G major. So here's my G major bar chord, and if you remember from my other lesson, we have three main notes that make that up. It's called a major triad. So what we do is we find the first, the third, and then the fifth note of a scale, and then we put those together and we get our major triad. So if I had my G major scale, very pretty, is I'm going to find my first is a G, pretty obvious, you're going to start your scale on your root note. I find my third note, 1, 2, 3, it's going to be a B. Cool, I'm going to take that, and then my fifth note is G, A, B, C, D. Cool. And then we said once we find those notes, we can put those together. And again, we don't play them in those exact spots. I just kind of find them in my scale pattern. But when I do make that chord, I definitely want to play those notes on different strings, so I can create a chord right there. And then our G major, we said, was kind of made up of the rest of G's, B's, and D's. So in our major bar chord, we have the chords, the notes just mixed up in a little bit of a different order, because on the guitar, we have our fifths that are pretty low. So what this chord is actually made up of is we have our 1 right here, which is a G. The 5 is actually the next note right there, and that's where we get our power chord or our fifth chord. It's always that bottom 2. So here's G, D. Here's another G, it's the octave. Here's my third, so that's where the third actually comes in. That's important, so just kind of take note of that. Up here on the B string, we have my D again, which is another 5, and then I have the G finally, and that's obvious because, again, our E strings always have the same notes on the same frets, unless you're in some funky tuning, in which case you're probably watching a different video. So, G major bar chord. Awesome, makes sense? Cool, 1s, 3s, and 5s, G, B, and D. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that chord, and first we're going to just make a regular minor chord. Cool. So it's really simple to do that is you just take away your second finger. So again, what we're doing there is we're turning it into a minor chord with an easy process called flatting the third. So that means we're taking that third note in a scale and we're making it flat. If you've never really heard the word flat before, besides for having a tire, it refers to moving your note down a half a step. So we're making it flat. So here's my flat, which is a B, and then I'm going to make it a B flat. So when I put that together, the 1, the 3, and the flat, or the 1, the flat, 3, and the 5 now give me a minor or a sadder sound versus the major happier sound. Cool. So there's the first simple procedure. And again, even if you know these, I'm just leading into how we're going to get these sevens and stuff. So bear with me if you know it. If not, you're learning something new. G major, G minor. And you can do that again up and down the neck. Just find your root note, A major, A minor. So again, ditch that middle finger. Cool, see that? Find your root note and then make it into a major and a minor. Now I know these bar chords can be hard for a lot of you, so what you can do is also, you can slim it down a little bit. Instead of doing the whole bar chord, you can just go right here to the octave, which again in this case would be the 5th fret of the D, form the triad, which is going to be G, B, and D right there, frets 5, 4, and 3. And again, that's just the middle of my chord, it's just these 3 notes. And then you can flat the third again, so now you don't have to have this whole bar going, you can just, cool, right there. And again, do whatever's comfortable for you. Again, I like to find the biggest chord possible and just play around with that so I know what's there. Cool, and there goes the pick. So, let's go back and move on from there.